What's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blogs. So let's get to it. All right, you guys, first story up, we have to send up our heartfelt rest in peace. Oh my God, you guys, I still cannot wrap my head around the fact that ChadwickBosman has died. Never, ever expected to be talking about his death. He was a young, strong, 43-year-old black man who we did not realize had colon cancer. I'll take that back. Maybe the last year and a half that I have seen ChadwickBosman, I had noticed that he was losing weight and that he was beginning to look ill. But I wasn't sure what was going on with him. We know many actors who will lose weight for roles, pick the weight back up. There are a lot of them that do that. So I was originally believing that maybe that's what ChadwickBosman was doing because he was never really talking about it. Not never really, he wasn't talking about it at all. But then when we got to the All-Star games this year in February, that's when I realized, okay, something's wrong. He's ill. His weight loss was very dramatic, and his face was looking hollow. I still didn't know what was going on, but I had a feeling that he had been sick. And pretty much ever since then, we haven't really seen much of him. I know that his movie, The Five Bloods, was released after that on Netflix. However, they recorded that movie, they filmed that movie last year. I do remember seeing him on a LeBron James, his HBO show that he has where they sit in the barbershop and talk. I do remember seeing him on that. And he noticeably had, his clothes were layered, but even still, he looked like he had lost quite a bit of weight. I knew something was going on, but then he had like really big hair. So then again, I started thinking like, well, maybe it is for a role. I just didn't really know what to think, but deep down inside, I had a feeling that something was wrong. And so the other night when I was taking a bath, my husband came in there. He said, "You heard about ChadwickBosman?" And as soon as he said that, I was like, "No." I said, "But what happened?" He said, "He died." And I said, "Oh." I said, I had a feeling something was wrong. But even still, you guys, knowing that he had lost that weight and everything, I did not expect this. Okay? Like I said, 43 years old. And we have seen him in roles where he plays T'Challa, the strong king that he was. We have always associated him with that character. And even though it's a very recent character, he will forever be that character for us. But we've also seen him in countless other roles that he's played. Of course, the standout roles that everybody remembers is 42, the movie 42, where he played Jackie Robinson, where he played James Brown, the movie where he played Thurgood Marshall. He had numerous other movies and other acting gigs in between there, but those are the ones that everybody seems to remember. And of course, our Black Panther, you guys. Not only did he do the Black Panther movie, but he also was in the Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame, where the physicality of those roles were just out of this world, you guys. He was ill when he was filming those movies. All right. He had been fighting this disease since 2016. He did not tell anybody. They said the only people that knew was his agent, outside of his immediate family, was his agent, his trainer, his producing partner, Logan Coles, and the director of 42, Brian Helgeland. They're the only ones that knew that he had colon cancer. Other than that, he did not tell anybody, including the studios that he worked for, including Marvel, who are now trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do with the Black Panther franchise. I've heard many people say that they want the Black Panther franchise to just be dropped, in honor of ChadwickBosman. I don't believe that they're going to do that. I don't want them to do that as a Marvel girl. There are many ways that they can continue on. Of course, they don't need to recast T'Challa because, like I said, that is him. He is that person forever in our hearts. But the Black Panther, as comics go, can become different people, including his sister, who at some point, I believe in the comics, did become the Black Panther. There's even a way that they can maybe even write in Michael B. Jordan's character, because at the end of the movie, we were all just like, he shouldn't die. You know, there's ways that they can do it. It's the comics. However, I don't want them to drop that movie. I am a fan of all of that. But that's not even really a discussion to have right now, because people are in serious mourning for Chadwick. Like, he was never one of those ones that I just sat and was like, wow, I just really love to hear him talk or anything like that. But he just always seemed to have a very genuine spirit whenever I would see him talking. Of course, the most that we saw him talking was when he was doing publicity for Black Panther. And, you know, we heard him speak about going around to visit hospital. I mean, all of the things that we now hear about him, it just has so much more meaning, because he was ill during this time. He was fighting this disease. They said that up until like a week before he died, he thought 100% that he was going to beat this. Okay, he thought he was going to beat colon cancer. And a testament to the strength of this man, he was going around while he was ill, and he was visiting children who were terminally ill themselves, and trying to be some sort of beacon of hope and light to them when he was fighting that within himself. I mean, I think it was obvious that he got something from that he was able to pull from the strength of these kids in particular that he was going to go see, and it did something for him. But yeah, you guys, I could not believe it. So heartbroken for him. They said that he died with his wife by his side. I didn't even know he was married. Evidently, he had been dating this girl, Taylor Simone Ledward. He'd been dating her since 2015. Somewhere along the line, they secretly were married. They didn't have any children together, but she's been there this entire time. You guys, I just was so heartbroken. I'm telling you, fuck cancer. It is such a devastating disease. It's so heartbreaking to see people succumb to it. It's so terrible to see folks eaten away by this, you know, by this disease. I could go on and on, but I won't. You guys tell me, what is your favorite role that you saw Chadwick Boseman in? I loved him, of course, as T'Challa. I thought that he did an excellent job, and really made that movie what it was. But I also remember him as James Brown, and even though I wasn't a fan too much of the movie, I think that I felt like he did such a great job acting in that role, that I actually will still sit and watch that movie every time it comes on cable. But yeah, you guys, just tell me what's your favorite role, or just a favorite moment that you remember seeing Chadwick in. Like I said, all of his speeches and all of the times that he's spoken is out there now. And you guys just let me know what you feel. But if you're anything like me, you were heartbroken to find out that this man died from colon cancer. So I am just going to say prayers up for him and his family, his many, many friends, and hundreds of thousands of millions of fans around the world. He's leaving us all behind, but of course he leaves a legacy of what he has lent to us, okay, what he has given us in the 43 years that he was on this earth, okay? Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. All right, you guys, next story. You guys wanted me to do a separate video for Monica and Brandy, their versus, their battle that happened on Monday, August 31st. It was on Apple TV. It was on Versus TV, on Instagram, on their live feed. It was a good time had by all, you guys. I logged on right at 8 o'clock and I stayed on until 11 o'clock. I have never watched a complete Versus battle all the way through ever. Even when I watched Erykah Badu and Jill Scott, I every now and then walked away or, went on to do something else and came back to it. But yeah, I sat and watched this one from beginning to end. And yeah, I enjoyed it immensely, you guys. I think I wanted a little bit more out of it. I was really hoping that the women would come in and possibly talk about, why they had the beef that they had and all of the things that had happened, since the original beef. They said something about it starting at an award show when they were supposed to perform The Boy Is Mine. And I kind of wanted to hear about that, and then all of the shit that had happened that brought them up to 2020 where they just really couldn't seem to stand each other. But then after I thought about it, you guys, I was like, well, maybe that's not our business to know. A lot of the shit is water under the bridge. A lot of the shit is once the fans would find out about some of the shit that had happened that we weren't privy to, that could actually make the beef worse, because the fans are a lot of the reason why I believe these two ladies weren't able to really get on the same page, or not even necessarily get on the same page, but just really had some sort of kind of hatred for each other. And I know it was all love that night, but nobody can tell me that these two just like each other prior to that night. Okay. And I'm not even really sure if I'll say that they like each other today. I think that they have an understanding today. I think that they will mutually agree to respect each other. If they're in the same place, they won't go out of their way to avoid each other. It'll be a, hey girl, let me give you a hug, let's take a picture. Maybe we can kiki for a few minutes and then go on about our business. I'm gonna be okay with that relationship with Brandy and Monica. The night that they were talking, I was feeling like I wanted them to have a tour and I wanted them to do a collaboration. But afterwards, when I really thought about it, I was just like, you know what? It's okay that these girls are not best friends. Okay? It's okay. Not saying that they have to hate each other, but they ain't got to love each other either. Okay? It just needs to be a mutual respect there, that all of the shit that's happened over the years is kind of water under the bridge, and let's just kind of from this point on try to move forward. So I'm okay. We ain't got to really do a tour. Something tells me that tour wouldn't end well. We ain't got to do a collaboration because we just don't really have to do that. I think that we all got in our feelings because there was so much, they were together that night, but how together were they really? I feel like Monica probably would have liked to have talked a little bit more about the shit that had happened back in the day. Brandy obviously was not about to go there. She was not there for that. Every few minutes was, I love you, I love your voice, I love this, I love that. And we know that that's not necessarily true because over the years, she said things about Monica. I wasn't saying that Brandy was, because I tweeted that I just wish that Brandy would keep it real. I didn't mean that to say that she was being fake. I felt like she was just trying to smooth over all of the shit that's happened in the past, and then instead would just say, I just love hearing your voice and I love this and I love that. I didn't necessarily need to have that. And so then once she got onto that kind of way of talking, I think that Monica realized that Brandy is not fixing to go there, the way that maybe the fans were expecting her to. So now we just gonna have this night of music and let it be that. Every now and then we say our little cute shade. Every now and then we'll bring up a story, as it pertains to us, Monica or Brandy, as it pertained to them, what a song meant to them or anything. But we didn't dabble too much deeper into the real beef between Brandy and Monica. Okay. And like I said, when I thought about it, it was just like, well, it don't even really need to be rehashed. As long as the ladies now, have some sort of mutual respect for each other, then I'm good with that. As far as the music and the night itself, I loved every minute of it. Okay. I still feel like Brandy has way more hits, or way more fan favorite songs, I should say, than Monica does. But make no bone, look, Monica had a whole bunch of good music too. Okay, some of them songs I forgot about. I was like, girl, I ain't even thought about some of these songs. But That's the beauty of this versus thing. It is truly a walk down memory lane to think about all of the songs. And really, you guys, that battle put me so firmly in the 90s. That was when I was in my 20s. I had so much fucking fun in my 20s. This is when me and my husband got married. All of that music just reminds me of that time. Okay, just being young in Los Angeles and just having a good ass fucking time, you guys. So I loved it. I loved every bit of it. Brandy was, you know, giving us some vocals every now and then. I would have loved to have seen them sing. I've heard some people say that Monica didn't do it because she knew that Brandy was going to sing her under the water. I think that Monica has a huge, big voice. Okay, very different from Brandy's, but I still believe that Monica should be so much bigger than she is. And I kind of feel like the reason why Monica hasn't blown up even larger, because Monica is big, I'm not saying that, but even larger is because of kind of her hood aspect that she has. I just feel like she could have, I mean, she had Clive Davis, she had them big names, Whitney, all of them, they was behind her because she has it. She has it in her, you guys. She just will never take that route of the traditional R&B singer. Not that Brandy is, but Brandy is more mainstream and, no, that's not the word that I'm thinking of, because you guys are gonna be like, no, Monica is mainstream too. They both have their fans all over. But Brandy is, I can't even think of the word that I want to say. But do you guys know what I'm saying? Like, they're different. And so the reaction by their audiences are different. But it was a great time. At the end, I wanted them to sing The Boy Is Mine together. Now I'm realizing that Monica refused to sing that song because you guys heard at the point when she said, "You own it," when Brandy said, "Are we gonna sing it?" And she was like, "You sing it, you own it." Well, evidently Brandy had the song removed from Monica's streams. So she's not able to, you know, capitalize off of that song I guess it was Brandy's song. And so Brandy now owns the song, so Monica can't make any money from it. So she probably was like, fuck, I'm not singing that song ever again if I'm not gonna make no coin off of it. Those kind of things are the things that we probably don't need to necessarily know about, because then it just brings up even more, you know, fans get mad at the other artists for whatever. So maybe it's just best that we don't have a discussion. Maybe they could have had a discussion ahead of time or afterwards, you know, and cleared the air on some things. And just like I said, just agree to exist together in the same spaces and be cool with each other. I'm fine with it, you guys. How did you guys feel about it? I saw some of my rock stars out there. I saw some of y'all names flashing by in the comments. They had 1.2 million people. A whole bunch of celebrities in the comments, including your girl, our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama. Okay, it opened with Kamala, you know, wearing her Howard t-shirt and saying how much she loved the girls and, you know, all of that. And like I said, just many celebrities in there, including Snoop Dogg, who kept on saying, when y'all gonna sing? Yeah, you guys, I mean, it was a home run for sure for Versus TV, and Swizz Beatz and Timbaland, honey, they really got something with this. I mean, just will continue to do well even after this COVID shit is passed. So now people are saying Ashanti, who should be the person that Ashanti battles. I don't really know. I'm not good at matching people up, so I don't know who to say. You know, people were saying, what about Usher? And then somebody said, oh, Justin Timberlake. I was like, oh, that would be a good little matchup. What's Justin doing? Ever since y'all told on him having an affair with that girl, he done disappeared from the fucking limelight, haven't he? But I don't know who Ashanti could go against. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty. Who do you guys think? I'm trying to think who was out with Ashanti when she was like real big around that time. I do not know. But you guys put y'all suggestions down there. I would love to see an Ashanti match up with somebody, because I loved me some Ashanti music too. Child, me and my girl Ro, we used to love us some Ashanti, honey. Oh, I remember when her album came out. I mean, we used to blast that shit. Anyway, that is it on the versus battle. You guys let me know what you thought about it, what you enjoyed, who do you think won. I honestly felt like I can't really call a winner. Like, that's how much I thought those songs matched up so well. I know in my mind that I have way more Brandy favorite songs for me, so I still feel like she won in that sense. But when it came to that battle, honey, they was toe to toe the whole entire time. So it was a tie for me that night, and I did not expect to tell you guys that today. They had their families there. Ray J was there, of course, trying to make some money in some which kind of way. Monica's brother there, her scary looking brother. That brother looked like he is fucking I was just like, ooh, I'm scared of him. But yeah, you guys, y'all let me know what about the what you thought about the battle. The good, the bad, the ugly. And if you believe somebody won, you let me know who that was as well. Niecy Nash. So my girlfriend Crystal sent me a text message the other day. She said, you already probably know that people always start off like this. You probably already know about this, but, okay. And most of the times I don't even really be on social media, especially on days when I have to do a video already. That particular day, whatever day it was, I wasn't on social media, so I had no idea. But she sent me an article, I think it was in Out magazine, that Niecy Nash had married some girl named Jessica Betts. Okay, posted a picture on her Instagram that said Mrs. Carol Denise Betts. Okay, and it had a hashtag that said love wins. And the picture that I'm speaking of is her in a wedding dress, holding her bouquet, and her wife that she married, because Jessica is indeed a woman, in like a white shirt, you know, button down shirt, and some white pants and some tennis shoes. Yeah, you guys, with that one post, Niecy Nash has firmly implanted herself into the LGBTQ IA community. Now, if you was anything like me, you did not know that, I guess, Niecy Nash is considering herself bisexual at the least, or full-blown lesbian. I'm not really sure what her how she's categorizing herself, and I don't even know if that's really our business. All we need to know right now is she's married to this woman. I was not surprised that Niecy Nash moved on so quickly, because I remember telling you guys when we were talking about her divorce from her husband, Jay Tucker, that was just last year. When we were talking about it, I said the way that they worded her divorce announcement to the public, the way that they had worded it, it was very clear that she had already met somebody and had moved on. Okay, they were saying something like, oh, she still believes in love, and don't be surprised if you see her with somebody else, and you know, she's always going to be open, and things like that. Did not expect it to be a woman at all. You know, only because Niecy has been so oversharing to the point where we were like, girl, enough, you know, of her relationship, her sexual relationship with her husband, and her giving him a blowjob every day, you know, just dropped to her knees. And, you know, she'd shared so much about her sex life that I was just sort of like, girl, I would have never expected you to be with a woman. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Y'all know love Rocky love. Okay, I want all motherfuckers to be in love. It's a great feeling. There is a little part of me that's just like, girl, are you sure? Okay, I mean, I know plenty of women who kind of fall trapped to the very sexy lesbian, the stud type. I can say stud, right? I can say that to my y'all, my rock stars out there. Y'all let me know, okay? But you know, Jessica's a good looking woman. Okay, but she's the stud. So we've heard of many straight women falling for the stud type, believing that they are gay or lesbian or bisexual. And then we've kind of heard about these type of relationships ending badly. Not hoping that for Niecy Nash and Jessica. I mean, in the picture, they seem very happy. I went on to Jessica Betts. She's a singer. Her Instagram is called Jessica Betts Music. I went on to her Instagram. She's very, very talented. And it seems that Niecy and her have known each other for a long time. Okay, they said that she was actually on an episode of Claws, the end of season 2, when Niecy got married to the Haitian doctor. Evidently, she sang in that episode, and I guess maybe that's how they met, you guys, through the show. I've read things now. People are saying that she actually sang in her actual real marriage to Jay Tucker. I don't think that that's true. I think that people are getting it mixed up and thinking about the wedding that she got married to the doctor, and are putting the two together. But I may be wrong, but I think that that's what's going on there. So I don't believe that this girl actually sang in Jay Tucker and Niecy Nash's original wedding. If she did, I mean, that is trifling, you guys, if that is indeed the truth, but I don't think that's what it is. But yeah, you guys, Niecy and Jessica, when I look at their Instagram, they have commented on each other's Instagram posts in the past. Very innocent, nothing that made it seem like anything was going on there, except for a picture that she did post of Niecy Nash. I believe it was her birthday, when it was like a picture of her from behind, and she just had on underwear, and she had her arms up, and her hair was back and curly and everything. And she had like long nails, and the girl had posted that on her Instagram. But other than that, there weren't any other signs that there may have been something going on between the two of them. But yeah, you guys, I mean, she was legally divorced. She didn't go public with this relationship. If she was indeed already seeing Jessica, she didn't go public with it until after everything was finalized and she had been gone away, and we ain't really heard too much about Niecy ever since, especially with COVID and Claws not happening and everything. And so, I mean, I'm not mad at her. I'm just surprised that the girl actually married a woman. But good for them. I don't know how old Jessica is. I don't even really know how old Niecy Nash is. I think that she's somewhere around my age or in her 40s, you guys. So, that's it. Just wanted to drop that off for y'all. Congratulations to the happy couple. Okay, were you guys surprised that Niecy Nash came out that particular day? All right, you guys, depending on who you ask, I guess congratulations are in order, because they're saying that Marcus Houston, 39 years old Marcus Houston, from Immature, they saying that he married the baby. Not the rapper, the baby. I'm talking about the baby that he had been dating all that time. 19-year-old Maya Dickey. They've officially been together since she was 18 years old. He's saying that they got together when she was 18, and 5 months later they were engaged. And now fast forward till August of 2020, they have been married. We've talked about these two in great lengths. The girl evidently has been around the family, even though Marcus Houston said that they weren't together, didn't have a relationship. She was the best friend, or is the best friend, to Chris Stokes' daughter. Okay, Chris Stokes actually calls her his daughter. And I remember when the story first came out that they were seeing each other, I actually thought that she was Chris Stokes' daughter. Okay. But turns out, no, she's just been around the family so long that he looks at her as a daughter. We know that Marcus Houston has been around Chris Stokes for as long as we've known the names. And it would just be real strange for me to think that Marcus Houston just met her when she turned 18, or just got involved with her when she turned 18. It don't take no genius to know that there was something else probably going on there. But it's always something else going on there, and nothing happens. I mean, that little group of people is just so weird to me. It's like a cult, is the best way that I can explain it. Not because they're Jehovah's Witnesses, not saying that at all. I'm saying because that particular group is just some strange folks. There was some talk earlier this year that she's been around at least since she was 15 years old. She was added to some credits of some Chris Stokes movies back in the day. He came out and said that somebody had hacked in and put her name down in the credits, like as part of the staff for his movies, and that was not the case. I don't know if that's true or false, but it's just real. That little group is just strange. It was just strange. Yet and still, you guys, I won't hate on the pictures. They look beautiful. The girl is a beautiful girl. Marcus Houston is a good enough looking guy. And they look happy in their pictures. I mean, she's legal age now. So I can't worry myself about it too much more than that. But I just wanted to let y'all know that him and the baby, they done went on and got married. All right, you guys, let's talk about Joe Budden and Tahiri real quick. Tahiri Jose, I think is her last name. So you guys remember that these two were a couple back in the day when Love and Hip Hop first came out. They were on the New York installment. You know, they weren't on there when Chrissy and them were on there, but they were still part of the earlier cast. You remember that they had a relationship then. It was already known that they would have a whole bunch of drama and shit going on in their relationship. He, at one point, had proposed to her on the show right there in New York Times Square, and she said no. It was the turn down that was heard around the world, and shortly after that they broke up and they went on their separate ways and whatever. Tahiri has been around, and so has Joe Budden, doing things separately. They're not a couple any longer. He's moved on with other relationships. She's moved on, I'm assuming, with other relationships as well. But we would see more of Joe Budden than Tahiri, because he got involved with Revolt TV with Puffy, and once he got signed on with there, really took off, and he got a podcast show, and he's got all of these things that's happening. State of the what was it called? Not State of the Union, but he started to pick up with his shows that he has, his podcasts and whatnots. Then we saw that he got together with Sin, and they were going to be back on Love and Hip Hop when they were having their 10-year reunion. They were bringing all these people back, and Joe Budden was part of those people that was being brought back with Sin. We also had Tahiri come back, who was, considered a part of the old school group. And it was a different dynamic because Joe Budden was now with Sin and Tahiri was there. And then you guys remember when in my reviews of that show, Tahiri kind of did a little cat and mouse kind of thing with Joe Budden. Well, not really, because he wasn't really biting, but she kind of was playing coy and just kind of acting like, okay, we can just be friends, but just kind of still insinuating that there may be something there, and kind of making it seem like she might be open to doing something with Joe. I mean, it could have just been for the TV show. It could have just been to piss Sin off. But Tahiri was definitely in this kind of hee-hee, ha-ha thing with Joe Budden. Once the show was over, Tahiri gets off that show, goes on to do hip-hop marriage boot camp, okay, with her best friend that she's now in a relationship with, this guy named Vado. Vado and her, I guess, got into an accident. I don't watch the show, okay, but I did watch the clip of the fight. They got into some confrontation. She was throwing apples at him and chucking them at him pretty good, him getting hit with these apples, and later on him jumping up and kind of trying to choke her out in front of the group. Now, of course, everybody is sitting there. The doctors or the counselors or whatever you call them jump up and get him off of her. But now Tahiri is in the middle of this, oh my God, is she getting her ass beat by her boyfriend? She said that was the first time that he's ever tried to do anything like that to her, that he's never tried to attack her. However, she's been a victim of physical abuse, domestic abuse by boyfriends in the past. Now, she would always kind of talk around this story, never really saying who the person was. But of course, many people were going to connect her with Joe Budden. We know that Joe Budden back in the day used to be crazy, was on drugs. He would even tell you that himself. And probably did some things that he wasn't the most proud of, but she would never really say his name. Well, most recently with all of this stuff, I think she was on an interview. Who was she being interviewed by? I can't remember. Kenny Burns, I think it was. She was talking to, no. Am I getting him mixed up with the Monica? Anyway, she was on an interview with somebody, And they were talking about the abuse that she's sustained, and she starts to talk about basically her relationship with Joe Budden and how he had broken her nose and threw her down some stairs in the past, and, you know, had did this, that, and the other to her. Things that no woman should have to deal with from a man who supposedly loves them. Okay, so when she put the story out there that he was abusive to her, of course, my heart went out to her. You know, I don't, that kind of shit I ain't got tolerance for. I ain't been with a motherfucker that's beating on me. I don't know that. So when I hear stories like that, I just be like, damn, that is terrible that she even would stay and be in a relationship like that. Okay. Well, Joe Budden has come out and replied to her and basically said that she really a toxic liar and that they abused each other. You know, he said that she used to beat his ass, you know, and that they had many times where that happened. He talked about him not breaking her nose, that it was another gentleman that broke her nose. He's not really sure why she's trying to place the blame on him. And he kind of just went on to talk about the things that he felt like she was lying about and trying to put on him when really that wasn't the truth. Okay, when you kind of listen to his story, and even when you listen to Tahiri's story, you can kind of deduce that these two abused each other. All right, yeah, it's not good when a man beats a woman, but it's never good when a woman beats a man either. Everybody should keep their hands to themselves. I mean, you know, they were young and there may have been some drugs involved or whatever. Okay, no excuses. You should not be doing these things, okay? So I just feel like, yeah, it wasn't necessarily just Joe doing it to Tahiri. I think it was Tahiri doing it to Joe as well. And bottom line is, it's good that them two are not together any longer, that they came to their senses, they broke up, they became better people, both of them, away from each other. And so that's that. Tahiri is just saying that she feels like he continues to lie about it. That's what keeps her from being able to heal from this. You know, I'm not here to say if she is telling the truth or lying or what. Okay, I can only tell you what both of the sides have said. You make your own decisions on that. What I will say, though, is the reason why I believe many people are having a hard time believing just her story by itself is because when she was on Love and Hip Hop, it was all tee hee ha ha. You know, I would imagine that if I was in that situation, I would not want to be around that person if I felt like they continue to still lie about it. It's one thing if the person had come to terms with it, you know, apologized to me for it, came out to the masses and said, yes, I did beat Tahiri back in the day, broke her nose, threw her down some stairs. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. I am sorry. That's one thing. Then possibly maybe I could feel like I could just be your friend or just talk to you if we're on the same set or something. But if I still feel like you are lying about it, and if I still feel like you are, you know, putting these stories out here to make me look a certain way, then I'm not going to tee hee hee ha 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 with you. I don't want to be around you. I'm still pissed. I still got issues. I ain't got no closure, none of that. And I think that a lot of people feel like if you feel like that, why would you go on a show and then kind of even be acting like you might be open into a relationship with this person again? You know, that is why I believe many people are having a hard time just believing Tahiri. Like I said, I'm not here to say that she's lying or telling the truth. I'm not here to say that Joe is lying or telling the truth. All I'm telling you is the reasons why many people might not necessarily believe her. Now, right before I did this video, I just saw a video surface on Shade Room where Joe actually, so back in the day on YouTube, they used to do vlogging before it was like, you know, shout out to Tamika, because I read your comment. Before it was a thing, they would be on YouTube and they would vlog. Okay, just so happened that somebody found the vlog of when she got her nose broke by some other guy, and that Joe Budden actually was recording her and she was talking about it. It was very clear that she was talking about another gentleman. Now, of course, when I think about it, I could say that maybe she's talking about another incident where Joe hit her in the nose and broke her nose. That's very possible. But when you hear Joe Budden react to her original, you know, her saying that he broke her nose, well, he talks about, no, I didn't break her nose, it was another guy. Okay, and then now that video has surfaced, so it kind of gives more credibility to Joe's story as well. But like I said, I feel like those two beat each other. Okay, I do really feel like that. And like I said, it's just good that they're not together anymore. So you guys tell me what you think about Joe and Tahiri. Oh, you know what? I got another story on Joe. Let's go to the next one.